Okay, so apparently I ran out of time in the first video. Look at, I changed glasses so I know which is part one, part two. So this is the second part of this week. So I was saying I ended with the idea that Duncan, remember when he was killing Duncan, and we're still at the exact same spot. So he was killing Duncan and he kept hearing those voices, and it was like, Macbeth shall sleep no more. Well, now they are having nightmares, and that includes Lady Macbeth, who was like, forget about it. Well, that's not true, because they're having nightmares. Okay, so we're still scene 2, okay? Here we go.
To be with the dead who meet again our peace of centrepiece than on the torture of the mind to lie in restless ecstasy. Duncan is in his grave. After life's fitful fever he sleeps well. Treason has done his worst. Nor steel, nor poison, malice domestic, foreign levy, nothing can touch him further.
Come on.
He was saying, you know what? Duncan's actually the lucky one. Duncan's dead. Nothing can touch him. Nothing can bother him. He's dead. Whereas now Macbeth, he has to worry about people being suspicious of him, his enemies out to get him, all of these things. Okay, should you have done all of this? And that's the thing. So was this a good idea to kill the king? Probably not. Okay.
Gentle my lord, sleek o'er your rugged looks. Be bright and jovial among your guests tonight.
So shall I, love. And so, I pray be you...
Remember they're talking about the banquet tonight?
Present him eminence both with eye and tongue.
Be happy.
Unsafe the while, that we must lave our honours in these flattering streams and make our faces visors to our hearts, disguising what they are.
You must leave this.
Oh, full of scorpions is my mind, dear wife. Thou know'st that Banquo and his fleets lives.
So he's talking about, of course, that's why he can't relax, because he knows the Banquo's still alive. Because Fleance is a threat. He's going to all of a sudden become king when he's probably like 13 or 14. Although they did become king back then at a younger age. But no. Why all of a sudden would he become king? There's no reason. I mean, Banquo would become king more than Fleance at this point. But okay, so he's not even thinking logically.
Them nature's copies not eternal.
There's comfort yet. They are assailable.
Yes.
Then be thou jocund. Ere the bat hath flown his cloistered flight, ere to black Hecate summons the shard-born beetle with his drowsy hums hath rung night's yawning peal, there shall be done a deed of dreadful note.
What's to be done?
Be innocent of the knowledge, dearest Chuck, till thou...
Hey, guys. Well, girls, but... really, guys, if you want to use this romantic term to call your girlfriend, there it is right there. Dearest Chuck. Isn't that romantic? He called his wife Dearest Chuck. Be innocent of the knowledge, dearest Chuck. Oh, so sweet. Because she asks, what are you doing? What are you gonna do? And he's like, no, you don't need to know about it, my dearest Chuck. So romantic.
Lord the deed. Come, sealing night. Scarf up the tender eye of pitiful day, and with thy bloody and invisible hand cancel and tear to pieces that great bond which keeps me pale. Light thickens.
Calling on the
and
dark
the crow
night
makes
again.
wing to the
Remember?
rooky wood. Good things of day begin to droop and drowse, whilst night's black agents to their praise do rouse. Thou marvelst at my words, but hold thee still. Things bad begun make strong themselves by ill. So prithee go with me.
Okay, so there's one thing I want to mention, and it's called a motif, Motiff. A motif is an idea that's repeated throughout of this play that ends up being part of the theme. So, for example, like calling upon the darkness and lightness, where darkness is shows evil. You're also going to see water because Lady Macbeth talks about washing your hands. She talked about that earlier, and that's going to come up later. Nature, how nature is affected. So when we see the different things that change and how nature is affected. Blood. Blood is brought up a lot throughout the play. So these are called motifs, things that are repeated throughout the play. So pay attention to those because I've talked about the darkness and that is a motif. So there's quite a few of them. So pay attention. What are some other motifs that we're going to discover that we've already probably talked about, that you've already probably noticed that we haven't necessarily mentioned? Okay, so scene 3, act 3. And so this is, they're near the palace. And then notice there are 3 murders. Remember, we only had 2 murders. So people that study Macbeth think that maybe this 3rd murder, because who the heck is this 3rd murderer? So some people believe that that 3rd murderer is Macbeth. And Macbeth all of a sudden decided that he absolutely loves killing, so he wants to be there to make sure that Banquo and Fleance are killed and he wants to take part. And so he shows up in kind of a disguise and takes part. Maybe the other murder is he wants to for sure make sure that Banquo is dead, so maybe he trusts one of the Thanes, and so he who knows? We really don't know. We don't know why there's a 3rd murder. I truly don't think it could be Macbeth because our next scene is going to be the banquet, and Macbeth is at the banquet, and the murderers come back and show up at the banquet. Well, Macbeth is already there and he's ready and they're at the banquet. He wouldn't have enough time to get back there, get ready, be at the banquet. So I don't think it could be. But who knows? There's this 3rd murderer. And the other 2 murderers actually question, who are you? What are you doing here? And he just says, Macbeth sent me. So kind of weird that all of a sudden, okay, let's go commit a murder with this stranger. We don't know. But all right, so this is the scene. God, this is the one I think you can hear some stabbing noises. Pretty exciting. So I'll turn it up a little
bit. But who did bid thee join with us?
Macbeth! He needs not our mistrust, since he delivers our offices and what we have to do to the direction just.
Then stand with us. The west yet glimmers with some streaks of day. Now spurs the elated traveller apace to gain the timely inn, and near approaches the subject of our watch.
Hark! I hear horses.
Give us a light there, ho!
It is he. The rest are within the note of expectation, already out of the court.
His horses go about.
Almost a mile, but he does usually. So all men do. From hence to the palace gate, make it their walk. A light. A light. 'Tis he. Stand to it.
It will be rain tonight.
Let it come down.
Treachery! Fly, good Fleance! Fly! 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 Thou mayest revenge!
Oh, slave! Who did strike out the light?
What's not the way?
There's but one down, the sun is fled. We have lost best half of our affair.
Well, let's away and say how much is done.
How about that killing? The gurgling. Fleance got away. And who would become king? Would it be Banquo? No, it would be Fleance. Oh, goodness. Okay. So on the study guide, you only have the first 2 questions. Oh, let's do part of Scene 4. Now this scene 4, this is the banquet. Okay? Macbeth starts to go a little
You know your own degree. Sit down. First and last, the hearty welcome.
Thanks to your majesty.
Ourselves will mingle with society and play the humble host. Our hostess keeps her state, but in best time we will require her welcome.
Pronounce it for me, sir. To all our friends, for my heart speaks they are welcome.
Okay, so one of the murderers shows up at the banquet, and he has blood on his face. That doesn't look suspicious. That doesn't look strange. There's all these people at the table, these rich people, and then over here at the door, here's this murderer with blood on his face. Oh, no, just a friend of mine. Yeah, some bloody guy. Okay, that's not weird. That's not suspicious, but whatever.
They encounter thee with their heart's thanks. Both sides are even. Here I'll sit in the midst.
Oh, so one of the things he just said, the sides are even. So he looks at the table. The table is filled on both sides. So remember he was saying, hey, Banquo needs to show up at the banquet. So where is Banquo's spot? It's already full. So remember, Banquo, you have to show up. You have to show up. Well, there isn't a spot for him. So there's both sides are filled, and my assumption is Lady Macbeth at the other end. And so, of course, the king, Macbeth, would be at the other end. But he's made this comment, both sides are filled. Okay?
Be large in mirth, anon we'll drink a measure the table round.
There's blood upon thy face.
Talking to the murderer.
'Tis Banquo's then. 'Tis better thee without than he within. Is he dispatched?
My lord, his throat is cut. That I did for him.
Oh, thou art the best of the cutthroats. Yet he's good that did the like for Fleance. If thou didst it, thou art the nonpareil.
Most royal sir, Fleance escaped.
Then comes my fit again. I had else been perfect, whole as the marble, founded as the rock, as broad and general as the casing air. But now I am cabined, cribbed, confined, bound into saucy doubts and fears. But Banquo's safe.
Aye, my good lord. Safe in a ditch he bides with 20 trenched gashes on his head, the least a death to nature.
20 gashes on his head. Okay, a little overkill. But Fleance is alive. So, of course, he's like, here comes my fit again. So now I have to worry. But now Macbeth is going to have a little aside, and that's in the study guide. Macbeth says, the worm that's fled hath nature, that in time will venom breed, no teeth for the present. What does that mean? So let's listen.
Thanks for that. There the grown serpent lies. The worm that's fled hath nature, that in time will venom breed, no teeth for the present. Get thee gone. Tomorrow we'll hear ourselves again.
Okay, so he says, there the grown serpent lies. The grown serpent is Banquo. So he's dead. The worm that's fled hath nature, that in time will venom breed. So eventually, Fleance will be a threat. Eventually. But not right now. Because then he said, no teeth for the present. So he's like, he finally realized, he's like, okay, eventually Fleance could be a threat, but not right now. So he's not really going to worry about it.
My royal lord, you do not give the cheer. The feast is sold, it is not often vouched, while 'tis a making, 'tis given with welcome. To feed were best at home. From thence the sauce to meat is ceremony. Meeting were bare without it.
Sweet remembrance, sir. Now, good digestion wait on appetite. A health on both.
Health on both. May it please your highness sit.
Here had we now our country's honour roofed, were the graced person of our Banquo present. Who may I rather challenge for unkindness than pity for mischance.
His absence, sir, lays blame upon his promise. Pleased your highness to grace us with your royal company.
The table's full.
All right, so I'm assuming it says on yours that Banquo's ghost shows up. It's kind of, when you watch movies of Macbeth, some of them show him up. He shows up, the ghost shows up, that Banquo's all bloody, and sometimes he just looks normal. It makes more sense if he shows up all bloody. But yes, this ghost shows up. Now, the only one that can see the ghost, of course, is Macbeth, and he's going to freak out. So who or what did Macbeth see at the banquet table? Banquo's ghost. Now, Lady Macbeth is going to try to cover this because Macbeth starts freaking out. He's like, So what does Lady Macbeth say?
Here is a place reserved, sir.
Where?
Here, my good lord. What moves, your highness?
Which of you have done this?
What, my good lord?
My good lord.
Canst not say I did it, never shake thy gory locks at me.
Gentlemen, rise. His Highness is not well.
Sit, worthy friends. My lord is often thus, and hath been from his youth. Pray you, keep seat. The fit is momentary. Upon a thought he will again be well. If much you note him, you shall offend him and extend his passion. Feed, and regard him not. Are you a man?
I am the bold one that dare look on that which might appall the devil.
Oh, proper.
Okay, so remember, all the seats are filled except that one. Well, the ghost sits in his spot. So he's like, there's no spots for me to sit. And they're like, right there, sit, there's your spot. Because everyone thinks that that's empty because no one can see the ghost except him. Sorry, you can hear Hershey in the background. He's crying. He's just going to have to keep crying. Okay, so then he freaks out because he sees the ghost. He's like, who did that? Who did that? Well, Lady Macbeth covers by saying, my lord is often thus, and hath been from his youth. Pray you, keep seat, the fit is momentary. So it's like, she says that he's had these fits, you know, like he kind of loses it or he kind of goes crazy. And he's been doing this since he was a child. Great. Our king is crazy and has crazy fits. That's what I'd be thinking. But there, you know, it's kind of like, don't talk to him, just leave him alone. And so then Lady Macbeth's like, what is wrong with you? My gosh, stop. You're acting like a crazy person.
This is the very painting of your fear. This is the air-drawn dagger which you said led you to Dunk.
Remember where you saw the dagger?
Flaws and starts, impostors to true fear, who'd well become a woman's story at a winter's fire authorized by her grandam. Shame itself. Why do you make such faces when all's done you look but on a stool?
Prithee, see there. Behold, look low. I'll say you why. What care I? If thou canst not, speak too. If charnel houses and our graves must send those that be buried back, our monuments shall be the maws of kites.
What's quite unmanned in
Ghost, please.
folly?
If I stand here, I saw him.
Fie, for shame.
Blood hath been shed ere now in the olden time ere humane statute purged the gentle wheel. Aye, and since 2 murders have been performed too terrible for the ear, the time has been that when the brains were out the man would die and there an end, but now they rise again with 20 mortal murders on their crowns and push us from our stools. This is more strange than such a murder is.
My worthy lord, your noble friends do lack you.
So what is he doing here? He starts talking about, it used to be that you could murder people, that you could put 20 gashes in their heads and they'd be dead. But now look what happened. He starts admitting to things. He didn't come right out and say, but it kind of sounds like it. And then Lady Macbeth says, my worthy lord, your noble friends do lack you. In other words, they're listening and watching you right now. And he's like, oh, I'm sorry.
I do forget. Do not muse at me, my most worthy friends. I have a strange infirmity, which is nothing to those that know me. Come, love and health to all, then I'll sit down. Give me some wine.
Ghost again.
I drink to the general joy of the whole table, and to our dear friend Banquo.
Hershey, lay down.
Whom we miss, would he were here. To all and him we thirst, and all to all. Our duties and
is
Thy
working.
sight, let the earth hide thee. Thy bones are marrowless, thy blood is cold, thou hast no speculation in those eyes which thou dost glare with.
Think of this, good peers, but as a thing of custom. 'Tis no other, only it spoils the pleasure of the time.
What man, dear? Hide! Approach thou like the rugged Russian bear, the armed rhinoceros, or the hulking tiger. Take any shape but that, and my firm nerves shall never tremble, or be alive again. And dare me to the desert with thy sword. If trembling I inhabit, then protest me the baby of a girl. Hence, horrible shadow, unreal mockery, hence! I so. Being gone, I am a man again. Pray you, sit still.
You have displaced the mirth, broke the good meeting with most admired disorder.
Can such things be and overcome us like a summer's cloud without our special wonder? You make me strange, even to the disposition that I owe, and now I think you can behold such sights, and keep the natural ruby of your cheeks when mine is blanched with fear.
It's like, how could all of you guys just sit there and look so calm when this ghost is here? And this is when Lady Macbeth's going to be like, okay, I need all of you to leave. He's not getting better. He's getting worse. She's afraid that they're going to question him. He's going to sound like an idiot. So she sends them away.
Sights, my lord.
I pray you speak not. He grows worse and worse. Question enrages him. At once, good night. Stand not upon the order of your going, but go at once.
Good night. Better health attend his majesty. Good night.
A kind good night to all.
It will have blood, they say. Blood will have blood. Stones have been known to move and trees to speak. Augurs and understood relations have, by maggot pies and choughs and rooks, brought forth the secret'st man of blood. What is the night?
Almost at odds with morning, which is which.
How say'st thou that Macduff denies his person at our great bidding?
Did you send to him, sir?
I hear it by the way. But I will send. There's not a one of them, but in his house I keep a servant feed. I will tomorrow, and betimes I will to the weird sisters. More shall they speak. For now I am bent to know by the worst means, the worst. For mine own good all causes shall give way. I am in blood, stepped in so far that should I wade no more, returning were as tedious as go o'er. Strange things I have in head, that will to hand, which must be acted ere they may be scanned.
Okay, so he makes a comment that Macduff is not at the banquet. Remember, he figures out who is loyal to him and who is not, and he does not trust Macduff. But then he does say, Macbeth makes this comment. He says, I hear by the way, but I will send. There's not a one of them, but in his house I will keep a servant feed. In other words, he says he has spies. He hires a servant that goes and works in all of the Thanes' houses. And they are actual spies that come back to Macbeth and give him information. So no, he doesn't trust anyone. Then he makes this comment, which is on the study guide, number 7. Macbeth says, I am in blood, stepped in so far that should I wade no more, returning were as tedious as gore. What does he mean? So think about it. He stepped in so far in blood. So he's now killed how many people? Duncan, the guards, Banquo. I mean, and there's no turning back at this point. He has to just keep going. So if he has to kill more people, he has to kill more people. It's like there's no turning back. He's now, he's done some really bad things, and if he has to do more terrible things, oh well, because at this point, he is guilty, he's evil, he's bad, he's going to hell, who cares? That's what he's thinking. So he has to keep going in order to remain king.
Like the season of all natures, Sleep.
Yeah, they're not ever sleeping because they have
Be able to
nightmares.
sleep.
Remember?
My strange and self-abuse is the initiate fear that wants hard youth. We are yet but young indeed.
All right. So that was act, or no, that was act, up to act 3, scene 4. Okay, so that's as far as we've gotten this week. If I do one quick to finish this act, probably not. I don't know. So remember, you're doing your study guide questions. You're going to fill those out, and then I'm going to throw in some other questions that you need to be filling out. Okay, so there might be part of the act 3 that you might not be able to finish until we finish that act at the end of next, or the beginning of next week. So don't panic. So let's say for this one, your check-in is going to be Chuck. So your check-in, what is a romantic name? Would be Chuck, dear Chuck. Be your check-in. So, but all right. So these are your 2 lessons this week, and then I'm going to put, beside your study guide questions, I'm going to put a few other questions for the assignment for today. All right. If you guys have any questions at all. So right now on the study guide, we are number 7. That's as far as we were able to get on the study guide, number 7 in Act 3. Okay? And we'll continue Act 3 next week. Hershey's saying, enough Macbeth, it scares him. All right. If you guys have any questions, make sure you are emailing me or ask questions on Google Classroom. All right? Hope you're doing well.